All right, today we're going to play detective. In our case file, the strange, sometimes illogical, and maybe even terrifying world of our dreams. Our lead investigator for this one is none other than Sigmund Freud, and we're going to use his early work to see if we can crack the code.
I mean, this is the big question, right? For literally centuries, people have wondered if dreams are just random brain static or if they're actually secret messages from deep down inside us. Freud was convinced he had found the answer, and honestly, it changed psychology forever. So let's see how he built his case.
So before Freud could even offer up his own theory, he had to deal with two really powerful and completely opposite ideas about what dreams even are.
On one side, you had this ancient idea that dreams were these deeply meaningful prophecies. And on the other, you had 19th century science just dismissing them as totally useless biological noise, kind of like the random sounds someone makes when they're just banging on a piano. So, meaningful prophecy or meaningless noise? Freud decided to start by tackling that scientific view head-on.
Okay, so Freud starts with the scientific view. The idea was, if dreams are simply our brain's reaction to physical stuff happening while we sleep, a sound, indigestion, the room getting cold, then we should be able to prove it pretty easily, right?
To put this to the test, Freud looked at this really fascinating experiment. And the setup? Super simple. Just observe what people dream about when they hear the exact same sound. In this case, the ringing of an alarm clock. So, in dream number 1, the alarm sound gets woven into this really peaceful story. The dreamer is walking through a village on a Sunday morning, and that ringing becomes the sound of church bells calling everyone to worship.
Now, in the second dream, the very same alarm clock sound gets interpreted completely differently. This time, the dreamer is on a sleigh ride in the middle of winter, and that sound becomes the jingling of sleigh bells.
And then you get to the third dream, where that same sound takes on this much more chaotic, kind of stressful role. This time, it's interpreted as the catastrophic crash of a huge stack of plates shattering all over the floor. And this is the crucial question. If the dream is just a mechanical reaction to the alarm, why were the stories so wildly different? You have one alarm clock producing 3 completely unique narratives. The stimulus theory alone just couldn't explain it. Something else had to be shaping the dream.
This is where Freud makes his big, truly revolutionary move. He suggested that the answer wasn't in the body, it was in the mind. Think about that for a second. For the first time, a scientist was arguing that the key to understanding dreams wasn't a physical twitch, but a really complex psychological process. That alarm clock was just the spark. The real story was coming from somewhere else entirely.
And this is Freud's groundbreaking assumption right here. The key to a dream's meaning isn't with some expert or a dream dictionary. It's already inside you, the dreamer. But here's the catch. You don't actually know you have it.
I know, it sounds like a total paradox, a complete riddle, but Freud had actually seen proof that this exact thing was possible, and he saw it in the world of hypnosis.
So Freud pointed to these experiments in hypnosis. Picture this. A person under hypnosis is told to perform some action later on. After they wake up, they have zero memory of that instruction. But, and this is the key part, if the hypnotist really insisted, really pushed them, the memory would surface. For Freud, this was the smoking gun. It was proof that a person could hold knowledge in their mind without being consciously aware of it, and he believed dreams worked the exact same way.
So, if the meaning is hidden deep inside the dreamer, how in the world do you get it out? Well, Freud developed a specific technique for this, kind of a psychological key to unlock the unconscious.
The very first step is to stop looking at the dream as one single story. Instead, Freud said you have to break it apart into individual puzzle pieces. The sleigh, the bells, the snow, each little element isn't random. It's a stand-in for a hidden thought.
And this pretty much lays out the method perfectly. You break the dream down, you take one piece, let's say sleigh bells. Then, and this is the crucial part, without thinking or judging, you just report the very first thing that pops into your head. It could be a memory, a song, a feeling. You follow that chain of free associations, wherever it leads, to find out what sleigh bells really represents for you.
So what's the ultimate goal of all this? Well, it's to translate the bizarre story of the dream into its true, hidden meaning.
Freud gave these 2 layers of the dream specific names. The manifest content is the dream you remember, the story of the sleigh ride. But the latent content, that's what the dream is really about. The hidden thoughts, the wishes, and the fears that the manifest story is basically disguising.
And that's really the whole point. The dream itself is a puzzle. It's a coded message. The method of free association is the tool. It's the bridge that allows you to travel from the bizarre surface story you remember to the deep, personal meaning that you've hidden from yourself.
So, the next time you wake up from a really strange dream, don't just dismiss it as random noise. Ask yourself, what is my unconscious trying to tell me? Because according to Freud, the answer is already there, just waiting for you to crack the code.